Hey, my name's Braden. I'm from Dry Air Manufacturing out of St. Bruce, Saskatchewan at the factory.
I'm Cody. I'm from Ohio, service tech in the United States.
Today we're looking at the central heating units that Dry Air manufactures. This is the 900 model. We're going to be looking at a few different things today. Fuel and power go into the unit, the control panel, as well as electronics inside of it, the burner, the gas train, and preheating, fuel, air, and glycol.
So for diesel on this unit, you're going to have your diesel connections here, 1/4 inch quick couplers. You hook your lines to go into an auxiliary tank. For power for this unit, it's 4-wire, 30 amp, single phase, 230 volts.
With power supplied to the unit, you can then see on the voltmeter, make sure you have proper power to the unit. We have a series of gauges here: air temperature, return temperature, supply temperature, and system pressure. 4 main breakers that you can turn on when you have power to the unit. With breakers on, you're starting to preheat the unit. You have a digital aquastat, that's your main temperature controller. It's usually set at about 175 to 180. You have an automatic high limit that's set at 200 degrees and a manual high limit behind the control panel that's set at 215. You have a series of lights on the right hand side, and these are for troubleshooting. The first 6 should be on and green when the unit's running properly. On the inside of the control panel door, you have a wiring schematic here that shows all the internals of the control panel itself. You have 2 120 volt relays, a 24 volt transformer. You have your main temperature controller, automatic high limit, manual high limit, as well as your operator lights on the front of the control panel. You also have a troubleshooting guide here that runs off the operator lights if you ever need help troubleshooting. You have 2 QR codes here that you can scan, and it'll go directly to Dry Air's website, so you can get operator manual as well as parts manuals.
So when you plug the unit in and you turn your breakers on the front panel, this is your preheater. This will start warming up, so it'll get hot to the touch. Glycol comes in here and out, and as this heats, you'll feel all your glycol being warm. Also, it will preheat your air and your fuel. So what happens is you have your diesel radiator here and you have an air radiator here. So the hot glycol comes up and goes through your radiator. Also, that residuals to the heat radiator for your diesel. So when you kick the unit on, you'll have warm glycol in the system for your pump, and also you'll have warm diesel fuel and warm air going into your burner. So some of the components inside this unit, you got your pump here with your capacitor. If you ever have a pump where it's not running, always check your capacitor first. Also, we have 3 seals inside the pump. So as this unit gets older, if you have a pump that is leaking, you always want to check your seals, which we do supply those. Up here you have your pressure relief valve. What this does is it allows fluid to circulate through the unit at all times for no flow situation. Temperature control valve, this allows hot fluid to come from your supply side over to your return side up to 140 degrees to prevent cold shock to the unit.
Here we have the low water cutoff for your glycol tank. If your glycol ever gets low enough, it will turn your alarm on your low water cutoff and shut off the unit. You have a thermostatically controlled valve that sends hot glycol to your air and fuel preheater and maintains 70-degree air and fuel at all times. Here is your aquastat sensor for your main temperature controller. So we're looking at the gas train for the unit if you ever switch from diesel fuel to propane or natural gas. You have a 1-inch inlet on the front of the unit itself. Some other CHUs have a 2-inch inlet. You have an inline gauge to test how much gas you're getting to the gas train. We like to see 14 inches of water column. It runs down to a regulator, and that you can fine tune your gas going to your burner. We have 2 valves for your gas, as well as a low gas pressure switch and a high gas pressure switch. The low gas pressure switch will need to be reset when you set up the unit. We also have an inline pressure gauge after your valves to double check your gas to your burner.
Okay, on this unit we have a diesel burner in it at the moment. Again, here's your diesel lines, comes in to a filter, okay, and comes into the side of the burner. You also have your air duct that has your air coming into the side of the burner. This gauge here will tell you the temperature of your air. You should always have 70-degree air and fuel going through the burner as long as this machine's running, okay? Your pressure gauge on your burner, so when this unit fires, your gauge will come up and once it hits after purge and it fires, line it up with the decal on the top. Also, you have a reset button here. So a lot of times when you first hook this machine up, you hook your lines to it, you might have to reset this a couple times on initial setup. If gauge comes up and it shuts back off, you want to push this in for about 3 seconds, it resets and then it'll fire. Now, once you put a propane burner in this, you'll have to hook a regulator up here, okay? And then inside this at the gas tray, you'll have your fuel hookup for your propane or natural gas. Hooks up underneath the burner here.
All of the information for this unit can be found at our website at dryer.ca. It has operator manuals and a lot of videos for you to watch if you ever have any questions. You can also call us anytime. Our service numbers are available on our website as well.